So we see after we run the program, there is a problem. Okay, let me show you again this program. So the problem, if we do Java C to run rectangle again, we see input.split, it doesn't know because input is not a string. If we go back to VI and read, input is an optional, it's not a string. It just give the type that it's going to read in as string, but it's not. So meaning that input itself is an optional. And optional, if you look at optional, they don't have the method that split. They have, these are the method that they have. We have to use like get, right? So to get the values, right? So we're going to do dot get first, right, to get the values. Now let's try that. We may need to cast this. Change the type. Casting means change the type. Alright, so cannot find symbol height, width, height. Let's check the spelling, H-E-I-G-H-T. Yeah, spelling is wrong, right? So, like I said, we might have to cast. Cast mean if it's not returning the proper string, we have to cast this. But I already tell it to return the string right here as a string. So that's why I don't have to cast, right? To string, because I already tell it as string. So the spelling is the issue. Now I fix the spelling issue. Go back and recompile. No more errors. So it's going to be very common that first time you're going to run into a lot of errors and try to fix them. So we get input with and height of the rectangle separated by space. So I have to have space here. We go fix that. 5 and 6. Voila, we got that, right? The perimeter of the rectangle is 22 and the area of the rectangle is 30. So that's how the program works. So now let me go back and put the spaces for rectangle, which is separated by. All right. So edit. Now we're going to say, okay, the program is complete. At this point, we're going to submit it on Git. So let's check the Git status again. Come back to Git command. So we're going to do Git status again. Earlier when we do Git status, you see that it say nothing to commit. Now I want you to compare, right? Where do Git status now after I created files rectangle.java and compile it. See that there are 3 files in that folder now, but I say they are untracked files. You have to use git add, which is the next command, okay, right, to include it in what will be committed. So what does it mean? So let's look at the drawing first. So let me draw this. Okay. So this is our computer, right? With the keyboard that we type. So this is our local, right? So I have the file name that I type. What's the file name? Rectangle.java. I just create that. And also, after I compile, I get rectangle.class. And one good thing about VI also add the swap file, right? It's just like a backup file, something like that. Okay. Like in case this .java damage, you can always get that back, recovery files. So that is a third one, right? .rectangle .java.swap, right? So I create that for us. It's just like for our backup. I mean, normally you can just ignore that. You don't have to add that to what? To Git. So what's Git? Git. So we have a local Git still on our local machine here, right? We do Git init, so it's going to create a like repository for us. Okay, and this is a Git, which nothing that we create adding to Git yet. So we need to add this file to the Git repository, right? When we do Git init, we have it. So that's why when we see this saying that untracked files, right? To include, you need to use git add and add the files that you want to track, right? So if you don't want to track this, like, you don't need to add them, okay? You can just remove it and just add this too, right? Instead, right? So that's what I'm gonna do. But when I add, it's actually not adding to Git yet, okay? It's actually where to add. I'm gonna add to what we call, let's say we call, let me remove this. It's not directly add yet. Okay. Let me get a name. The name called staging area. Okay. It's just like a temporary area that you can still modify before you really want to add. Okay. So I'm going to call this as staging area here, right? So when you add, you're going to add this to your staging first. Right, when you do git add. So this is we call add. But after you're done and you decide to put on git, we call commit, git commit. Okay? COMMIT. But they're still in local, which you cannot share to the public yet. Or I cannot see your file, your friend cannot see it yet. Now I'm going to expand to the bottom here. We're going to have to create our account on where? GitHub.com, right? So we are go to, there are many of them. One is GitHub.com, right? This is no longer local, right? And you create your own account and you have your own Git too, where people around the world can access and see your files and contents if you share that right as public, right? Meaning that you're going to move your local Git here. Okay, how do we move that? We'll push this. We call push now. Commit is, you see, add to staging. After staging, you do commit to your local. And after that, we're going to do push. Okay? Push, that means you publish this into your public repository online. And that should be do it, right? Everybody can see it. Now this is what we're going to learn. We already have the files here. We're going to add to staging first, okay? Alright, so let's come back and do that. You see all the rates, those are, it's not on our staging yet. We have to do git add and rectangle.java, or you can do dots like wildcard, everything, right? .java.class will go. Spelling is wrong, they don't see it. Okay, so this is just the LF, CRLF being replaced, like the left feet, line feet, right? they just do control line feed, which is fine. It's just the ASCII code type, right? All right, so now we check the status again. I just show you git add, right? And come back to git status. You see they are greens. These are changes to be committed. These are in, right, staging, right? If you want to change it, you can do unstaged by just git rm -- cache followed by file name. If you don't want to add something like that, right? Like for example, if I do I don't want to add .class, which is not necessary now. I only want you to submit .java. If I get .java, I can just compile to get .class, right? Do you don't want to waste spaces to store that online? Then I'm going to remove .class, right? The one is important is .java, the source code that I want to commit. All right, so it's removed that. By doing git status, it's going to show you. All right, so only one in the staging now, right? So if you look at the image back, now I actually have just this to the staging, right? Okay, so I no longer need this line, right? So I do that staging, right? And after that, I'm going to commit, okay? Now we ready, right? To commit, so we have the commit command here with the message. Okay, so if I commit, it's stay in your local, which is good for your local. If you want to recover the files, you can always go back and get from your local. Okay, if you want to go to history, you can do local, but you cannot collaborating the work if you're not pushed to the public, right? It's just on your machine, which you can collaborating locally if you're on the LAN network, right? That you share that git local from your machine. Now we're gonna do git commit to put in your local. -m stand for the message. Like you normally gonna add something like initial commit. This is your first time of rectangle.java. Pretty much you know this is just your first version. Now if you go back and you add something, change from JavaFX to the option pane, then you just put the message that I have changed this to that, right? Then it's just keep the history now, because you may have like hundreds of files in there. The message will remind you, right, which version you really want to pull back. You don't want to say version 1, version 2, version 3, which you're not gonna know what is in version 1 and 2 and 3, right? So now we're done with the commit. Pretty much it's done locally. Next, we want to push on github.com, which you want to create your account on. Pretty much go online and go to github.com, right? So you just need to sign up, create one. Like after you have your account, you sign in. And I'm going to create the new repository. It looks like I already have one named rectangle from previous class. So I'm going to say rectangle 2, for example. Okay, that's how you create a new repository. You can put description. Okay, rectangle program, fine, perimeter, and area. Okay, make it public. Then everyone can see it. Or you can do private and add team members. You can do readme files if you want. Now you get this. So we're gonna use HTTPS. Okay, copy this. So SSH is another way to transfer the file more secure with a certificate. I'm gonna copy this link and go back to my console and also review our command again right here. So we